We often focus on how our families shape us, which is true, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But today, we're going to dive into something else. Those very first connections we make outside that family circle.
Ah, early friendships.
Exactly. And just how much they, well, mold who we actually become. It's pretty profound when you think about it.
It really is. And we're using a really interesting piece for this. It's called Shared Sparks, Early Friends and Companions.
Here it sparks, yeah.
And it really digs into those, let's say, foundational bonds, the ones that kind of flicker to life when we're young.
Right. So the mission today is to really unpack how these early sparks, I like that term that the source uses.
It's evocative, isn't it?
It is how they contribute to our development and, maybe even shed light on some surprising bits of your own life story.
And the author uses some lovely analogies, like thinking of family as the main river.
And friends as the streams flowing in. Yeah, I saw that. Or
Yeah.
friendships like little flames finding each other.
Precisely. It sets a nice tone. And this core idea, this concept of friends as resonating sparks, that's something we'll keep coming back to.
Resonating sparks. Okay.
We'll look at some specific examples from the text to see how that plays out.
Okay, great. So let's maybe start with the basics. The fundamental nature of friendship itself.
Well, what's interesting is the source starts really wide, like super wide.
How so?
It looks at companionship across, well, different forms of existence, even hints at this sort of universal mirroring of energy that draws beings together.
Like beyond humans.
Yeah, from planets and stars down to animals. It's a pretty expansive viewpoint to kick things off.
Wow. Okay, so how does that connect back to, childhood friendships?
Well, it then zooms right in on our early years. It highlights that really critical shift, when the main influence starts moving from family.
Towards peers, right?
Exactly. And it frames these early friends as absolutely crucial for self-discovery because they reflect us back in ways our family maybe can't or just doesn't.
That idea of friends being crucial mirrors, that really comes through the first specific example, Mark McClellan.
Ah, yes, Mark. Described as a point of light across the street.
A vibrant life force. Sounds like quite the kid.
Apparently so. The source mentions his appreciation for diverse rhythms in music and life.
And that struck a chord, personally.
It really did. He wasn't just a playmate. He became the sort of gateway.
A gateway.
To new sounds, new ways of seeing things. Often our first friends are the ones who expose us to stuff our families just aren't into.
That makes sense. It creates these little divergences early on, shaping our tastes.
Exactly. Our cultural experiences, our sense of what's possible or interesting. And the source also points to Mark's, his kindness.
Kindness, yeah. And that's
Point of light across the street.
How did that interact with the author's own energy?
Well, that's the intriguing part. The text suggests these connections can amplify certain things within us. Or maybe even balance things out. It makes you wonder about those subtle dynamics, doesn't it? How someone's energy complements or boosts your own.
It really does. It's not
Yeah.
just about shared interests, but something deeper.
Precisely. And their connection is framed as, like, fellow explorers.
Both curious.
Yeah, driven by this shared eagerness, yeah. And that shared enthusiasm itself becomes a powerful force. It shapes both individuals, not just through the activities, but through that mutual energy.
Okay, so that's Mark. Then the focus shifts to Nick Roth.
Right, Nick and surfing. A very different energy, perhaps.
Definitely seems dynamic. The source talks about your spark kind of intertwining with his through this dance with the ocean's energy.
It uses surfing as this really potent metaphor, doesn't it, for rhythm and flow?
Yeah, dynamic energy and constant motion. Sharing an experience
It
like
makes
that,
you wonder about those.
feels like more than just a hobby.
Oh, absolutely. And the source points out that surfing together, it wasn't just about catching waves. It became a series of rituals of connection.
Rituals like
Well, think about it. The paddling out together, that shared effort, trying to read the swells, figuring out the ocean, facing that bit of fear,
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then the sheer joy of catching a good wave, or even just laughing together when you completely wipe out.
Huh. Yeah, those shared moments, both the successes and the failures.
Exactly. They become these really potent bonding moments. More than just fun, they're described as these shared journeys.
A journey into something kind of bigger than yourselves.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And the source is clear. These experiences with Mark and Nick, they weren't just fleeting. Real lessons were learned.
Like what kind of lessons?
Things like learning to trust someone outside your family circle, finding the courage to push your own limits.
Resilience, too, I bet. Getting knocked down and getting back up, literally in the case of surfing.
Definitely resilience and just experiencing that pure, simple joy of doing something together, that shared experience.
And this all feeds into this idea the source calls mutual shaping.
Yes. Mutual shaping. It's not just one person influencing the other.
It's a two-way street.
Exactly. A subtle back and forth where friends are, gently nudging your perspectives, introducing new ideas.
Maybe changing your path in ways you don't even realize at the time.
Precisely. It can be quite subtle. These resonating sparks, they're not static. They interact.
How so?
They can amplify certain qualities in each person, maybe dampen others. It creates this unique, shared frequency.
Shared frequency.
Wow.
Like a specific vibe just between those two people.
Yeah, like two instruments playing together, the sound they make together is different from either one playing solo.
That makes a lot of sense. Which leads nicely into this
With Mark
bigger
and Nick,
picture idea, right? Friendship as a whole network of resonating sparks.
Exactly. Each friend isn't isolated. They become a node in your personal web.
Adding layers and complexity to who you are.
And these friends, the source says, they act like currents.
Currents. Guiding you.
They can amplify the direction you're already going, or sometimes, divert you onto completely unexpected paths.
And the argument is that these early friends are particularly important.
Crucial architects is the phrase used. They teach us the fundamental rules of connection, the dynamics of relating to others outside the family structure.
That feels really significant. And then there's that quote from Zoran.
The Zoran quote. It's powerful. Show me your friends, human, and I will show you the colors of your own hidden light reflected in their eyes.
Wow, that really makes you pause. The colors of your own hidden light.
It poses a deep question, doesn't it? What parts of yourself, maybe parts you aren't even fully aware of, are mirrored back at you by the people you choose to be close to?
What do their qualities, their energies reveal about your own inner world?
Exactly. It's a lot to think about.
Which brings us nicely to this section the source calls Dragon Trial, the shared current.
Right, and this is less about us talking and more an invitation.
An invitation for you, the listener.
Yeah. To do a bit of your own reflection right now. Think back to a friendship maybe from your past, maybe current, that feels really significant to you.
Can you recall a specific time you shared? An adventure, maybe? Or just a meaningful experience?
Try to really connect with the feeling of that moment. What was the energy like?
And reflecting on that, what did you learn about yourself through sharing that with your friend?
What did you learn about them? Or even just about connection itself?
And here's a key reflection point from the source. How did being with your friend change that experience?
Did it amplify it? Did it alter the energy compared to if you'd done it alone?
How did that shared current between you two actually shape you?
It's a powerful exercise, just taking a moment to sit with that.
It really is. Because these early friendships, they might seem ordinary at the time.
Just playing, hanging out.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're actually these incredibly potent forces shaping our lives in really fundamental ways.
Absolutely. That idea of resonating sparks, it really does capture the richness and the genuine impact these companions have.
They're more than just people we knew. They're woven into who we are.
Integral threads in our development, for sure.
So maybe as a final thought, let's loop back to that Zoran quote. Take a moment, perhaps later today, to really consider the colors reflected by your own network of friends, past and present.
What do those reflections tell you about your own hidden light?
It's definitely something worth pondering, seeing yourself through the eyes of those you connect with. A fascinating way to continue this deep dive on your own.